Hey there, boils and ghouls. I'm Mr. Macabre, and welcome back to my movie library. Yeah, this is a really, really good day for me. Just anybody who's ever followed any this channel or any of my previous channels over the time, you guys know that I'm a huge, huge Tim Burton fan. I love a lot of his work and everything. I think you can tell, you know. Yeah, and today I'm very, very happy that we got this in. The only thing I'm not really happy about is I just wish my only complaint about this release is just that I just wish that maybe we could have gotten a standard slipcover edition because you guys know that while I don't hate steelbooks, I'm not against steelbooks in any shape, form, or fashion. I do admit, you guys know I'm kind of more of like a slipcover guy. I kind of like slipcovers, collector's editions, things like that and whatnot. But yeah, but I'm not gonna cry if I get something in a steel book, So especially since I have the protective cases, So, but yeah, you already know what we're talking about. Thanks to Fox/Disney, maybe even Sony too. I'm not sure. You already know what we're talking about. We got Tim Burton's Edward Scissorhands on 4K. Now I will say that is a gorgeous steelbook, though. I mean, you see it's nice, nice gloss finish here, and you can see reflected in the blades. You can see, Edward's home, the castle up on the hill, and beautiful design. You see Winona Ryder's reflection in there. Then you can see like the little. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see here in the video, but you can see like the suburb, the houses in the cul-de-sac on the street. And you see the topiary dinosaur on there, and yeah, this is a very beautiful, very well-designed steelbook. So, if you are a steelbook collector, and that was the thing, I had a Blu-ray steelbook of this, and I will say, just, of course, I sold off the Blu-ray steelbook to get this, but, yeah, I will say, just, from the aesthetic of the steelbook, this is actually a lot nicer. Not that was an ugly steelbook, I'm just saying, And then here on the back, you have Winona Ryder's picture here, and then you see Edward, Johnny Depp's character, reflected in the image there in the broken glass. So yeah, very, very nice steelbook here. Open that up so you can kind of get the full effect there. But yeah, this is really, really beautiful. And turn it around. You got the 4K disc there, and then you got the Blu-ray disc. You got the image. It's nice. You got some inside artwork there too. You got Edward in the castle on the staircase. And then, there you go. I showed them the nice, pretty, like 1950s, 1960s style houses in the image there. And you got the infamous, Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder picture there. And of course, everybody knows they were dating at the time, or they had just started dating there. And then that's the inside of it. Very, very nice. Very well done. Very pretty steelbook. And just really, really good. Sorry. And there we are. So there it is. Really, really beautiful. So you got your 4K, you got your Blu-ray disc, and for the digital enthusiasts out there, you do get a digital code with this. And by chance, if someone does give you a code from this and you redeem it on Movies Anywhere, you will get the 4K version of the film. And so yeah, so there you go with that. But yeah, I'm very, very happy about this. I think that Tim Burton's movies always end up looking great, on 4K, and this one is definitely no exception. The first few minutes of it, like at the very beginning, kind of like the kind of the bookend, part of the film with Winona Ryder as the grandmother telling the stories like a fairy tale to her granddaughter. When you start watching on the 4K, you're gonna be admittedly, you're gonna be kind of like, but it's like once you get into the story and you start seeing, the colors of the different colors of the houses and the, the daytime scenes and, the cul-de-sac and everything. Then especially when you get to the scene where Diane Weist's character drives up to the castle and she meets Edward for the first time. And you just see the layout of it, the green of the topiaries, the color of the flowers, just, the beautiful dark aesthetic of the castle and everything else. It doesn't take long for the 4K to show you it's really, really great true colors, and it just goes really well. There were a couple of scenes I admit I thought were going to look a little bit more vibrant color-wise, but still, the movie does not look bad at all in 4K. I would just say that there were probably a couple of moments that I thought were going to look, it's like, I don't know why. I was just kind of expecting just the colors to be just a little bit sharper, but still, no, it's not a bad transfer at all. They did do a really good job with this. When you get to some of the flashback scenes, with Vincent Price as the creator of Edward Scissorhands and stuff, it's like you really see, the Dolby Vision, the HDR, really like flexing its magic and everything else, working its magic and stuff like that. And then especially when you get to the finale of the film, just this movie, it really does look great on Blu-ray or on 4K. I'm sorry. The sound quality is amazing. I think you do get, no, you got Dolby Master Audio. Okay. I thought this had a Dolby Atmos track, but no, it's just Dolby Master Audio. But the Dolby Vision on here, everything looks beautiful. Everything looks really, really good. This is a movie that's, really, it does benefit very much from a 4K release. And it does look great. It really does. I have yet to see. Now, I did make a video. You guys remember, I did make a video a little while ago talking about the 4K of Corpse Bride. And quick little story on that, okay? I got some pickups that I was going to show you. I'm going to show you to you after I get done talking about this. But, it's that time of year. Usually around it's a little early, but usually when I get into November, getting to November and December, that's usually around the time where people, either one collector or a number of collectors, what they do is they sell off their, like a lot of their boutique labels or collector's editions or stuff like that. Either they just decide they're going to, just kind of clean house and get rid of stuff that they don't want, or, they need money for the holidays or something I don't know. But anyway, I went in and it's like, yeah, they're starting early. Now, the one thing that kept bothering me when I did that video on Corpse Bride, because I talked about, I was like, whenever I tried watching that disc on my players, for some reason, it looked, I couldn't even see it. If you go back and watch the video, I talk about how the picture quality was so dark, I could not even see it. I came across this the other day for a good price at the record store. The Corpse Bride Collector's Edition. The big, box set and everything else. And I was like, I don't know what the deal is. People have mentioned in the comments of that video, it's like, well, it could be your, it must be the way you got things set up. You need to check your, you need to check your TV, you need to check your setup and everything else, and stuff like that. And everybody's like, I don't know what the hell you're even talking about, bro. Because, I watch it. It's amazing. It's like, what is going on here? And, it's like, I checked my setups and everything else, and I wasn't sure. So I was like, could it possibly be, maybe it's the disc? And so I saw this, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to pick this up, check this out, and I'm going to look at this. And if it's the same thing, then I'll just turn around and take this back, get my money back for it. But if not, then, maybe it's something. So I did. I picked this up, got this, brought it home. I put the disc in the player. I, started checking it out, and it was completely different from the other disc. The only thing I could think of is one of the rare times it's actually ever happened to me. The only thing I could think of is maybe it was just I got a bad disc or something like that. Because I put this in here, I put the 4K disc in here, and it was completely different. It was so different from what I had seen before. It was so vibrant. It was so beautiful. It was so gorgeous. I mean, it was beyond what I expected this movie to look like. It looks so great in 4K. And that was the only thing. The only thing I could think of is just, it must have been just one of the few times I got a defective disc. So I kept this, took the other disc, and, I told them about it. And they're like, well, give it to us. We'll handle it and stuff like that. So now I do have Corpse Bride in the nice collector's edition on 4K. And now my tune is completely changed. It is, yes, if you ask me, would I recommend getting Corpse Bride on 4K? Yes. If you can get it where the disc looks really good, then yes, I strongly, strongly recommend picking up Corpse Bride on 4K. It looks stunning. It looks amazing. And the same thing goes with Edward Scissorhands. This movie looks great on 4K. Like I said, there were a couple of times where I just thought the colors would be a little bit brighter, just a little bit sharper, stuff like that. But other than that, I have no complaints about this movie. It looks great on 4K. It sounds great on 4K. This is a movie, I would recommend it. But I would say, if there was ever a possibility, that's the only downside. Because this cost me $39.99. I would say if there was a possibility, if this could go down in price, I'm not sure something like this ever will. If there was a chance you could pick it up for a good bargain, I would definitely say, yeah, jump on it if you're a fan of the movie. But that is, like I said earlier, that is my biggest gripe about this. I'm just irritated that we didn't get a standard, slipcover edition, something a little bit more affordable. Like I said, nothing against steelbooks, but just, yeah, it would have been something that, people who are a little bit more on a budget, would have been able to afford. That's my only biggest gripe about this is, but, overall I'm very, very happy with it. And here's the J card there. Unfortunately, nothing new as far as bonus features go. We just commentary by director Tim Burton, commentary by composer Danny Elfman, and a featurette. And that's pretty much all we get. But just would have been nice. Yeah, we could have gotten some, this is the 35th anniversary edition of the movie. And just, yeah, it would have been nice if we could have gotten some, we could have gotten like some interviews and stuff like that. If Disney hadn't alienated Johnny Depp and stuff like that. It's like, he probably would have done an interview and like would have been nice to hear, maybe interviews with like Winona Ryder or maybe Diane Wiest or, Tim Burton or Anthony Michael Hall, like anybody, like some of the people that worked on this movie would have been nice to, have them get on there and share their thoughts about it and stuff. So, it's like we're casing this bad boy up, so make it nice and secure. There we go. Include the J card in there. But yeah, it just would have been nice if we could have gotten like some new bonus features to go along with it. But there you go. But yeah, still, I'm very happy with it. I do enjoy this movie. I enjoy just about all of Tim Burton's movies. I will say though, like for this movie, this is a movie I have to be in the mood to want to watch it. Only because, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's just because it ends up, you start watching the movie and you just kind of know the ending is going to be kind of sad. It's going to be kind of a downer. The whole idea that, Edward is brought, out of his environment and he's brought into this new environment where ultimately he ends up being rejected and he has to go off and basically live by himself and basically, tries to fit into this society that just ends up not accepting him and turns their back on him for, and not for very good reasons and stuff like that. And, ultimately, it's like these people in this neighborhood, they're so civilized and so nice, or supposed to be, end up being the more kind of monstrous ones, even though at the beginning of the movie, Edward is considered like the outsider. If there was a monster, people would think that Edward is the monster. And, clearly he's not. but the people that are supposed to be the nice and the most civilized end up being the more mean and I don't want to say evil. Evil's pushing it, but no, I guess you could say like Anthony Michael Hall's character, the boyfriend, but anyway, still. So yeah, it's a really good movie. It's a. I would say yeah, I would recommend watching this around Christmas time. There is a very strong Christmas aesthetic to it, especially in the third act of the movie. Because everybody's talking about yeah, around Christmas time it doesn't snow here, and at the end you're getting into the third act and Edward's doing the ice sculptures and everything else, and you see Winona Ryder there. She's like dancing, kind of like in the snow that Edward is creating and everything else, and so yeah, so but just still, it is a little bit of a it is a little bit of a sad movie, I think. So but still, it's a movie that this is a movie I deeply appreciate. I do respect, and it still is a movie that I respect enough and wanted enough that I was willing to pay the extra money to upgrade this to 4K. And so, yeah, so I just really do appreciate this movie and love it for what it is. Just like I said, just sometimes I gotta be in a mood to want to watch it, and just so many amazing things. It's like I told my ex, she was younger than me, and I was telling her about, I had introduced her to Beetlejuice, and I told her, that was the thing, is like she knew a lot of kind of like Tim Burton's visual aesthetic and stuff like that. But when I showed her Beetlejuice, I was explaining to her, it's like that was kind of the thing. What made Tim Burton so great was to see when these movies first came out, to see the imagination and the creativity and just everything that went into making these movies, like Edward Scissorhands and Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice and, Batman Returns, definitely, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, to see so much imagination and creativity and originality going into movies like this, but anyway, still so good. I really love this movie, and I do appreciate having it. But it was like I was telling her, it's like, it was something, like if you were there and you had seen these, like when these first came out, it was something to behold, to see such new and original movies come out, such an original voice and storytelling and everything else, so, and, this was just the first of many wonderful wonderful collaborations we got between Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. I think so many of us would love to see a new Johnny Depp Tim Burton collaboration. I would. I know a lot of other people would. We would love to see that. I'd love to see Tim Burton start working with Johnny's daughter, Lily Rose. I think that'd be kind of cool to see him start putting. I mean, nothing against Jenna Ortega, but I would love to see him put Lily Rose Depp into some of his movies and stuff, see the two of them start to collaborate. I think the two of them would work quite well together. So, but yeah, but overall, yeah, just, if you are a fan, if you can afford it, I would definitely say, yeah, definitely go for it. It really does look good on 4K. And, like I said, just, that's the only thing that buzzed me out. I just wish we could have gotten a slightly more affordable version, that people who can't really afford, keep shelling out $40 for Steelbook can afford. So, but yeah, just a wonderful movie. And, the last movie of Vincent Price, Vincent Price's last acting role was in this movie. Sadly, he passed away shortly after this movie was made. So, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, really good movie. And I'm not upset at all. Like I said, I just wish we could have gotten a more cheaper, more standard edition, so people on a budget could afford it. So, but anyway, so yeah, does look really good on 4K. They did a good job with it. So yeah, I'm happy with it. And so anyway, yeah, and like I said too, yeah, got the collector's edition now of Corpse Bride, so I'm happy about that. So, and to see that it was, like I said, I don't know what it was. It just, the only thing I could think of, it had to be I just got a bad disc. Because I put this one in and played it, and it was completely different. So, completely different experience. So, yeah. So, now I do recommend, I do recommend, if you can get a good disc, Corpse Bride on 4K looks amazing. So, Real quick before you go, I just wanted to show you a couple of things. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that, like around this time, a collector or collectors start selling off some of their boutique label stuff and collector's editions and everything else. I did manage, they're starting a little early. I did manage to pick up a couple of things and actually got these for more cheaper than you think. This one here with a slip from Severin. I got Dracula, Prisoner of Frankenstein. This is a Jess Franco film. Got this for the Jess Franco collection. There you go, with the slipcover, and look at that. Still sealed, hadn't even been opened. And my slipcover, you see there it says $12.99. I actually did not pay $12.99. It turns out I had some store bonus points saved up, so I got this at 50% off. So let's just say 13 bucks. So I got it for about $6.50. So yeah, for $6.50 for a Severin with the slipcover still sealed, I can't complain about that. This was $12, you'll see from the sticker, but again, some bonus points, so I actually only got this for $6. This is one I never got around to. I'm finally getting this on 4K, and that is John Carpenter's Escape from LA. As you can see there, $11.99, so about 12 bucks. So, actually I only paid about $6, So finally nice to get this. This was one I've been thinking about getting. And I'm going to show you guys something. The inside is, this is actually my my Shout Factory Blu-ray of Escape from LA. And I'm keeping that. I'm not getting rid of it. Because the Blu-ray has some bonus features, whereas the 4K is completely bare bones. You'll see, like on the back of the slipcover for the 4K, there's nothing there. No bonus features whatsoever. So, but yeah, we got a couple here, New 4K scan from original camera negative. New interviews with actors Peter Jason and George's Coreface. Visual effects artist David Jones and more. Still gallery, TV spots, theatrical trailer. So at least the Scream Factory Blu-ray still has some bonus features on it where the 4K is nothing on it. So I just, put these two together in the same case and, turn it into a Blu-ray 4K combo. And, and yeah, surprised the digital code still worked. I was able to redeem the digital code. Now I can, I know some people will be like, well, why would you want to? But, I could be like, yeah, I could watch Escape from LA in 4K. But, I'm really happy to finally add this. It's another movie to add to my John Carpenter film collection. So, or, no new 4K for my John Carpenter film collection. Definitely not his best movie, but you know what? I get enjoyment out of this movie. I have some fun watching it. There's some good stuff in here. So I have fun with it. So anyway, so yeah. Finally got to, get the 4K of Escape from LA. Picked up one slipcover. This is for a really, really good Shudder movie. It's called Stay Out of the Attic. Managed to get the slipcover for this one. This is a really good movie. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Is that the 3 characters? Yeah, I love those. Yeah, I love the 3 characters there. The Hispanic guy, the African-American woman, the white guy. The 3 of them, they make a really, really good team. I love that kind of stuff, You see a group of, diverse people working together in a movie. It's good stuff. This one here I've seen forever. I've never watched it. I finally jumped on it because the Blu-ray was only $2.50. So if it stinks, it only cost me $2.50. I can take it and get my money back for it, and that is Mr. Jones. I've seen this video on shelves forever and ever. Never picked it up. I figured, what they $2.50, the cost of a rental. So if it sucks, I'll just take it back, get my money back for it. This one here, this is a Scream Factory. I didn't know until I picked it up. But yeah, this one was only $4.99. We have The Vigil. Not sure if this is going to be a good one or not, but I don't know. We'll see. Some of these Scream Factory originals can be hit or miss. Some of them are pretty good, and some of them not so much. So this one here, don't know much about it. Again, it's low risk. It's $5, and if it turns out the movie's not very good, I just, take it, trade it in, get something else for it. So, I get that. This is kind of from their Halloween sale, which definitely not as good as their usual ones, but I managed to pick up a couple of these, so we'll see if it's any good or not. So The Vigil, And last, this one I'm not really looking forward to this one very much. It's a Shudder. I haven't heard the best things about this one. This one's called Seance. Again, it was $4.99. Scream meets Black Christmas. The only thing is like, which version of Black Christmas? If it's the original, I could kind of live with that. If it's any of the remakes, like, ay, ay. Suki Waterhouse is the kind of horror hero we need but don't deserve. I don't know. This is just... I haven't heard the best things about this movie, to be perfectly honest with you. And so, like I said, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and try to check this out. And like I said, it was only $5, so, if it turns out it stinks, it's not my cup of tea, I just take it back, get my money back for it. So, no big deal. So anyway, so yeah, there we go. These are my pickups. Here we go, 3 Blu-rays. Mr. Jones, The Vigil, Seance. Slipcover for Stay Out of the Attic. This one I definitely do recommend. This is a really good movie. Finally got 4K of Escape from L.A. Dracula, Prisoner of Frankenstein on Blu-ray. Brand new seal, only $6.50 for this one. And first and foremost, Edward Scissorhands on 4K. So yeah, definitely a really, really good day. So that's it. So if anybody took the time to watch all of this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, would you please leave it a like? If you haven't already, please go and subscribe to my channel. And that's it. We're getting ready. We're heading into Halloween. So planning to try to do some Halloween, do 1 or 2 videos before Halloween. So see what we can do. So that's it. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. See you all later.